What up YouTube, it's your boy Rizil and I'm back on the channel with another one, and today we're going to be looking at a Steve Wilkos, which is titled Non-Consensual Threesome. Was it a rape or was it a threesome? I didn't see any person any male. I'm getting too indoctrinated into being politically correct. You see, I've said person like I'm don't want to offend any woman or man or whatever. I didn't see any man on the thumbnail or whatever, or the face value information. So I don't know whether women are raping women over here, or it was a threesome, or someone was like drugged or something. But we just gonna see what happens, dog. It's been a while since I did a Steve Wilkos. Haven't been watching even episodes outside of my reactions, so it's gonna be good to be back. So without further ado, let's check it out.
Havana has been dating Arnett for about 4 years. She called me that afternoon because they had gotten into a fight.
2 weeks ago, we had an argument where it got pretty heated. She wanted to leave. She didn't want to be around me at the time. She said she was going to get all her stuff and go move in with Maya. I said, yeah, whatever. It's whatever. Do what you got to do. She leaves. I go out to the bar that night. I had no idea what she did that night.
And Anita and I went to go pick her and her stuff up so she could come stay at our apartment for a while. We decided to have a girls' night out, so we all went to a bar. Havana, Anita, and I. We met a guy at the bar. We all just were there having a good time. I was the designated driver. There was a guy there that was buying us drinks. Havana was really messed up by the time we were leaving the bar. All 4 of us left, the guy, Anita, and Havana and I. Went back to the apartment. I took her upstairs, and Havana and I went to Anita's room. So we lay down in Anita's room to watch a movie. A few minutes go by, she's dozing off, and she's like, I have to go put on pajamas, because she was still dressed in the clothes she was wearing all night.
From what I heard from Maya, that she was so drunk that she wasn't even speaking in full sentence, slurring every single word. Maya had to tell her to go put some clothes on.
I realized after 30 minutes, Havana still is not back. I leave my room to head to the living room, and I'm in like mid-hallway, and I can see like a good portion of the bed, and I see the guy that Anita's hooking up with laying on the bed facing Havana. Havana's on her back. We just moved in. I feel like this was a messy situation, so I was upset and I left.
The day after this happened, I got a call from Maya saying like, oh my God, brother, this, that. I walked in and I seen Havana's like, what are you talking about? I call Havana back and she's super flustered, like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I just talked to Maya. I was furious. But as I get more of the story from Maya and Havana, it starts to piece together like, now that makes no sense that she would do that. Somebody took advantage of her.
The next day, I have several missed calls from the both of them. First, I call Havana when I'm ready to talk, and I'm expecting her to answer the phone, like, I'm sorry, like, kind of like apologizing for the situation, and she's just like, oh, hey, sis. So I'm confused, like, you don't remember last night? She's like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? I'm like, you don't remember having a threesome? She's like, what are you talking about? Starts to get a little more frantic, and I kind of explained to her what I see, and her first reaction is, why would I leave her there? Which is a valid question. I didn't know that it wasn't consensual. We're all adults here.
In the moment when Maya told me she left, I was furious. Like, why would you leave my girlfriend there with them? We might have been broken up for the time being, but how are you going to leave your best friend there with no help? You're just going to leave her stranded, and this is your home. She don't have a key.
It's a bunch of bullshit, bro. I'm trying to listen and wait for the pause before they switch to the actual episode where Steve Wilkos starts addressing the different details. But that's a bunch of bullshit. One, before I go further back. One, if you two are broken up and like she gets into a situation like this, how is someone supposed to know that she's being raped, bro? Especially in the generation that we live in. In the generation that we live in, not to say that this never happened back in the day, but back in the day, it was more secretive. In the generation we live in, people are sort of like very comfortable with like having sex everywhere and being very public about their sexuality and like their sexual experiences and being sexually liberated, all that shit. And they are very open about being able to or succumbing to moving on fast when the option comes sexually. You know what I'm saying? This shit of like seeing the girl engaging in like or being part of some kind of sexual activity in the form of like a threesome or whatever is it's like it's shocking, but it isn't like wow, like this isn't supposed to be happening or this is news. It's just like basically a part of like especially these type of people's lives. You know what I'm saying, in terms of their sexual exploits and all of that. It's not really new. So how is someone supposed to know if you're being raped in the first place? You know how I suppose, because especially nowadays, like bro, with the way there's no, I'm not saying they should be, honestly speaking, because there's a fine line, but there's no even like shaming of women and their sexuality nowadays, bro. It's very, everyone is very liberated. You know what I'm saying? So how are you supposed to know that she didn't just make this option for herself? And two, this doesn't like I've never drank alcohol in my life, and this has further convinced me not to drink alcohol, because people, in terms of alcohol and drugs, they always get into situations they don't want to be in, but they insist on their passion of like consuming alcohol and drugs. And I'm just like, why would I see you jump in front of a car and then do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's like for me. Weed, however, is not a drug. I don't smoke weed anymore. I never used to smoke weed regularly. I used to smoke weed like recreationally and occasionally, but weed is not a drug. I stand by that. I stand by that, ladies and gentlemen.
Did this. She obviously, you knew she wasn't speaking in full sense, so she couldn't give consent. So how could you see something like that and walk away from it?
If I find out that Havana's lying, my heart's going to be broken just because things that she's aware of my past. This is a very touchy subject for all of us, actually. And if I find out that Anita's lying, kind of the same thing. I'm going to be very hurt, and she also won't be welcome in my life anymore.
There's no way she would cry rape just in fear of losing me. She knows that I'm here for her no matter what. So there's no way she would just scream rape, because we watch so many shows about this. Like Steve Wilkos, our show. We call this.
You'd be surprised, my friend. You'd be surprised.
She ain't gonna come on here just to embarrass herself.
Havana, you believe that you were raped by your friend's roommate? Tell me what happened.
I was raped by my friend. Anita is my friend as well. We've been friends for 2 years. There's been no conversation or anything that she would get that we would ever have sex. So why she chose, when I'm not speaking in full sentences, to have sex with me has really been... I've been having anxiety attacks. I'm not able to sleep. I went from weighing in the 130s to the 120s in under a week.
Hold on. I saw the guy and then I automatically presumed that he was a part of the threesome. But apparently he was the boyfriend who was cheated on, or like, was basically dishonored by this happening to his... But technically she wasn't his woman then yet, so it's not dishonoring. She's not yours anymore, you know what I'm saying? Or you are not in the same partnership anymore. But now apparently it is back to my first conclusion. And that conclusion is she was either raped or was in a threesome with a woman. Was a guy involved? Wait, 1 minute.
I'm not okay. And nobody wants to take this story seriously because they hear you're messed up. So I'm not being looked at as a victim, and I am a victim. I would have never had sex with Anita or this random guy, ever. We were in the bar, and this guy that had been buying us drinks all night, he started with buying all 3 of us drinks, and then it moved to just buying me drinks. And I was heartbroken. I was trying to have a good time. I got really messed up. The last thing I remember was being on they have a small dance floor in this pretty small bar, and he brought me over a drink. And that's the last thing I remember.
And Anita and Maya, how long have you been friends with them?
Maya is, to call her my friend is the fattest understatement. That is my sister. We've been that way since 7th grade. Her mom is my mom. My mom is her mom. Our siblings are each other's siblings.
So you're very close with her.
I would die for Maya.
Okay. How did you become aware that you had sex with Anita and this man?
I woke up at 6 a.m., fully clothed, unaware anything happened to me, not feeling like anything happened to me. I went out for a girls' night, and I didn't think I would have to watch my back with the people I went out with.
This is a valid question. Because I don't know what it's like for a woman. You know what I'm saying? But when y'all have sex, even when y'all are drunk, if you wake up fully clothed, do you not feel anything like difference? You know? Because I know there's that running joke of like, you know, if she gets hit, you know, well enough, she's open forever, you know, that thing is loose, it's no longer tight. Which, numerous reports say that that's bullshit and the vagina does go back to normal size, you know, or whatever. It depends, you know. Fuck it. Do you feel the difference or not? I'll just ask you, like, for real, do y'all feel the difference or not? Because, like, she's saying she woke up fully clothed and she didn't feel like anything happened to her. And I'm like, bro, someone was inside you. Like, how do you not feel anything, like, even, like, a little bit of, like, you know, like, something down there, like, I feel a little bit stretched out. And unless this guy was understroking, dog, I don't know.
So it was never a thought when I woke up that something happened to me.
You literally disgust me.
You're disgusting. You're a predator. Who has sex with somebody who's not speaking full sentences?
That's clearly
what about our relationship these last 2 years has ever given you the vibe that you would ever be able to touch me? Not one. So, when you wait for the one night that I go and have a girls' night with you two, and I'm not speaking full sentences, to have sex with me, that makes you a predator.
She believes because of that night that you and this man raped her. What do you have to say about that?
I honestly think that she's lying. First of all, she's sleeping in my room. I'm sleeping in the living room with this guy. She makes it seem like I came into my room. She came out to the bed, took her own clothes off, and laid down and initiated everything herself. The thing that Havana never told anyone...
You're lying.
The thing that Havana never told anyone, that before we went out that night, she was drugged off of 2 ecstasy pills. She didn't say that part.
Everybody here knows that. They know.
Well, I'm just making sure.
The hospital knows.
The police don't know.
So speak on something you know.
Obviously.
So you were under the influence of drugs and alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. But even if...
You see why I don't take drugs and alcohol. Weed is not a drug. This message is brought to you by Reza Ill. Let's get it.
Okay, and that's the deal. Just because somebody does drugs and drinks, that's not giving consent for sex.
And that's not... The guy and I had already had sex. So we're sleeping, and that's when Havana comes in and sits on the bed, and this is her exact motion. She says something, I open my eyes, and she's taking her pants off like... What is that?
Dare you?
That was childish.
I'm supposed to take the words of a predator?
That's all right.
So you're kind of sleeping, right, with this guy? You're just both asleep? She comes in, and what does she do?
She takes off her pants, throws them on some boxes that are in the living room because when we were moving Maya's stuff, we didn't want to move it into the bedroom.
Right.
She throws her pants on there, balls up a cover, and lays on his chest, and that's what woke him up, is because her hair was in his face.
Okay. And then what happened?
So then we just, start rubbing and, feeling on each other, and then that's how we started having sex.
Okay. To you, did she seem aware of what she was doing?
Of course. She initiated it. She woke us up, you know what I mean, out of our sleep.
What did you see that night?
Okay, first, can I get off topic for a second?
Sure.
We've been in each other's presence for...
bitch is huge.
Too many times since this happened. Act like you have some sense. Stop pulling chairs. Act like you were raised right. That's not okay. Second, I feel like all of this, like, I'm so frustrated. Like, I just moved into my apartment. I moved away from mess to get, like, avoid all this, and I'm standing on the Steve Wilkos show. I'm not happy about this. Right. I'm a preschool teacher doing my best, leaving work, and all I did was get attacked by her. I just got attacked.
By Havana?
Yes, attacked, and I'm trying to do my best.
Right.
So I just have so much to say at this point.
Do you feel that you did anything wrong?
I'm not taking responsibility for anything, because at the end of the day, you're both adults. We're all the same age. I might be more mature, but I'm not your mom.
It's true, bro. It's not her fault. Like, me, I would never, even in terms of girls, look at one of them, like, engaging in, like, some sexual act in terms of my friends with someone after a night out and presume that they're getting raped, you know? It would take me hearing something to be like, yo, something is wrong for real. Because you never really know, guys. Like, you can't even blame me for what I've just said now. You never really know. You never really know. Especially, like, in terms of, like, the types of friends you have. If you know you have a type of friend where, this, like, half of my friends in terms of girls, they're, like, really, like, let's just say innocent or whatever. They've never had sex. They've never, you know, they've never engaged in that activity. You know, they nerds, all of that. You know, they don't really, they take their time with it. They're what the manosphere would call wife material. You know what I'm saying? And then the other half, they get in relationships and they give that shit up and they go out and they drink and they have a good time. It is what it is. Now, in terms of that half, I would never just assume that, oh, you're getting raped. You out here doing this all the time. Like, what am I supposed to think? You know?
Leave the bar, all four of us, the guy comes too. Vanna's still wide awake. She's like, let's go drive around campus to see if there are any frat parties. I'm already knowing she's messed up. I'm not looking for frat parties. I'm just gonna drive around to sober her up. So we drop Anita off and the guy off to the house. We're driving around for a good 45 minutes. We pull up in front of my apartment. Havana's like, maybe if you feel like it, we can go drive around and see if there's parties. I'm like, okay, you know what, you're spent. We're going upstairs. We're going to bed. Like, we just did that, so I'm like confused. So I take her upstairs. We go in Anita's room because, like I said, my room's packed with me and Havana stuff all over the place. So we go in Anita's room. We're in the room. I put on a movie, turn off the lights, like I do to the kids at my job, like to make them fall asleep. Right. She's dozing off. And everything. I'm like, okay, this is working. Then she jumps up like, oh, I have to put on pajamas. So I keep watching the movie. First of all, it's a movie that I wanted to watch in the first place. So of course I'm into the movie. It's Bring It On. Movie? Bring It On. So that's my jam, okay? So I'm like, I'm in this movie.
Who's in that movie?
I mean, it's the new one, so I don't know none of them. There's a new one, 2017.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know. Right. So I'm like in the movie. About 30 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, I know I'm not tweaking. It's been a minute. Where is Havana? Look in the hallway. The door is cracked. I see the light coming from the direction of my room. So I get up, go in my room. There's no one in there. So I start walking towards the living room. So I get like mid-hallway. I can see part of the bed. I see the guy laying facing Havana, and Havana is laying there. I see the reason I don't stop nothing, I'm stuck, first of all, like, okay.
Were you shocked?
Shocked. Like, I'm, like, hesitating, like, and then when Havana and the guy look at me, I'm like, okay, you're making eye contact with me at this point. You're not, there's nothing being forced. Like, y'all see me and keep doing what y'all doing. Thank you. How do you look at me and keep doing what you're doing and expect me to help you?
I understand where you're coming from with that. You see two people having sex, but you see Havana having sex with somebody she just met that night, just had a breakup with me, or not even really a breakup. So why would you assume that?
Is this guy from the 1970s? This is literally our generation. It's literally our generation, not just the city, even like in the villages and shit. It's literally what kids do nowadays. What is she supposed to think? People fuck around. Not everyone. Before anyone gets any stereotypes, not all of us fuck around and shit. Just like I said, like in terms of girls, half my friends are not really in that life at all. They're the opposite, and half my friends, they in that life. Not as intense, it varies, but you know what I'm saying? But bottom line is, in our generation, in terms of people who are like truly like they're in that like fast life and shit, it's literally, we are desensitized to it. What are you supposed to think, bro? Come on.
she would think that was okay. Why would you assume that she consented to that? If you knew she wasn't speaking full sense, y'all was just laughing at her rolling on the ground. What sense that make?
Well, you were in a physical confrontation with her earlier that day?
She came at me, attacking me, like mad at me because I called her a bitch. Called her a B word.
You called her a bitch.
She doesn't like that. You can't call Havana that.
Why did you call her a bitch?
Because I was mad.
But this is somebody you love.
Yeah, you're right. When you're mad, I let my anger get the best of me. That's all I can say at the end of the day. I didn't put my hands on her. You saying I hit her?
No, I said your hands were around her neck.
No,
were they not? Did
I
me
had
and
her
Anita
hands
not
on her face like, stop,
Havana,
get out of here. Did I
Speak
choke
up.
you?
Was his hands not around your
neck? Or did I have my hands on your face?
Arnett had his hands on my face, and he did grab me by the neck for a moment.
You see any marks on her neck?
Not now. This didn't happen
The day after, it wasn't there, no marks on her neck.
You're shocking me.
Why
did you not show me marks on your body? Did you not show me marks on your body?
Maya, was she swinging
I don't care if she stabbed you. You don't put your hands on a woman.
You sound crazy. If I get stabbed.
I hate this fucking debate. I hate this debate. This debate of no matter what happens, and I see it all the time, even in popular male figures, no matter what happens, you don't put your hand on a woman. It's so fucking stupid. And it's always from people that have never been in that situation, bro. It's always from people that have never been in that situation. I swear to God. Because not just female, like male figures also. Me personally, I understand the situation because it's not like through my life I've just been in like strenuous and violent situations with women. But 4 different times growing up, I was in situations with women where I didn't even initiate anything. But like sometimes, you know, when people are talking shit and there's an argument going, women can't take it, bro. Women can't take it. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. And then they start putting their hands on you and shit. And it is the most awkward thing ever. People don't know the difference between an abuser and someone who's literally trying to defend themselves. Because they think if someone tries to defend themselves when a woman is being violent with them, he's automatically an abuser. And that's not the case. I've been in that situation. I didn't go off. I didn't start like beating any woman that put their hand on me to the ground or slapping them around and shit. Like I was literally like in my head turmoil because I was like, shit, man. I was like literally calculating. This thing has now become a thing. It's become public. I'm embarrassed. And now I don't know what to do because at the end of the day, it is a woman. And in my mind isn't automatically set to beat up women. If anything, my mind is set to don't touch women. But now I'm getting attacked. What do I do? You know what I'm saying? It's always, bro, people who say that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're stupid. They're the type of people to get stabbed and just say, no, I couldn't touch her. It was a woman. No, dog. No, you have to defend yourself one way or another, bro. I didn't even have to, like, even in one setting, I didn't even have to beat her up. I just stuck my hand out, like, to keep, like, my reach away. And then she tripped on a fucking table and hit the ground and started crying. Now, automatically, I hit someone. I didn't touch her. She was hitting me the entire time. She landed a bunch of hits. All I did was this. She tripped, and then suddenly now, it's a woman who's been abused. I didn't get in trouble or anything. It sort of disappeared. But you know what I mean? People who say that are the most stupid people in the world. There is an excuse to hit women. There are many excuses to hit women. I'm going to get in trouble for that, aren't I? There are many excuses to hit women, just like there are many excuses to hit men. Namely in the self-defense, in terms of the self-defense like spectrum of things. Shit.
Havana came here and took a lie detector test.
Oh, we know she ain't lying.
And we asked her, was the sex that you had with Anita and that man that night consensual? She answered no. Do you have any recollection of having a threesome with Anita and that man that night? She answered no. The results came back the same to each question, and it came back that Havana told the truth.
So you knew she wasn't.
Anita came here and she took a lie detector test, and we asked her, did Havana willingly remove her own pants? You answered yes. You told the truth.
Ooh.
Did Havana voluntarily lay down in your bed? You answered yes. You told the truth. Did Havana ever verbally or physically resist any sexual activity that night? You answered no. You told the truth. Did Havana lose consciousness at all during sexual activity that night? You answered no. To that question, you did not tell the truth.
Woo! Oh, that's even worse.
What the fuck are you talking about? Of course she lost consciousness. She's like drunk. That's not worse. That's just a matter of circumstance. How is even she supposed to know that this girl is like unconscious or... You know what? Fuck it, man. Let me not be a victim blamer. People are gonna start thinking that I'm evil or something, man. I just have no faith in this generation and in terms of like the relationships on that side of the board, bro. I have no faith in whatever any of them say. Fuck the lie detector.
Whoa!
I look at this as three young women. You weren't drinking that night, so I exclude you. A couple young women that drank too much.
And for the fact that you failed that question, that I passed out at a certain point, tells me you know how wrong you are. I'm disgusted by you, but this will not break me. Maya, you're always gonna be my sister. I love you with all my heart, and to the day I die, that will never change.
What about you two?
I just need time.
I do not know what happens. I know 3 friends went out that night, and 3 friends there will be no longer. I wish you all the luck, and I hope you never make these mistakes again.
I called you, Steve, for help because...
Hey guys, as I said, it's just a matter of circumstance and how our generation works. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? It's just a matter of how our generation works. You never know. Frick, I mean, why am I saying? I'm trying not to swear. But fuck, man. Even in high school, people are losing their virginity in toilets in the mall and shit, bro. Like, in high schoolers, bro. These people are adults. This shit isn't new. You never really know. There's always... This story, bro, even like with the results out, it's still too watered down for me. You saw how many like truths that girl had in terms of the sexual answers, in terms of whether this girl took her clothes off or initiated anything or gave consent and all of that. And in terms of her falling unconscious, man, that's alcohol. That's alcohol. I don't know why she got that answer wrong, but come on, bro. I would have said yes, and I wouldn't have feared it. I wouldn't have been afraid, because how are you supposed to know, man? Especially, man, like, comment, subscribe, and we all gonna burn in hell. Fuck it. Ah, man, we are lost people, guys. Thank you. Hit the post notifications. Take care.